Hey, my name is Tom Pinder. I am a solo founder working with Cloud Code mostly, but my background is in IT logistics. I was a senior software engineer at Herman Miller Knoll prior to branching off and doing my own thing, building IdeaLift, which is a platform that captures basically decisions that are happening in product teams. So what I wanted to show is actually as I'm building IdeaLift myself, I've built out some tools that are augmenting that building process. One of those being a QA basic process that goes through and it will validate the fixes that validating features and codes and bugs that I put into production that my QA team that is async will go ahead and test against. This code, basically, this software is aware of my code, right? Like, so it will be able to, you could chat with it and say, hey, how does IdeaLift detect decisions in Slack? And it's a chatbot, but it understands your code, which is the paramount thing here. It doesn't divulge what your code actually is or any of that information, but it will often give, or what it will do is a QA person that's working for you, that's validating your code, will basically be able to dive in, understand the context of your code, and be able to reply to these natural language queries that will basically go back and tell that user that's querying here that you give access to your assistant here hey, here's how that functionality works. This is really important for being going through and doing the testing that the code somebody that's async won't need to go to you and ask a bunch of questions for clarity for how a business case expects to run. Here on the bottom, I have a Cloud Code session that's actually running that's doing my V2 for this. V2 being what this is actually doing is it's picking up a test run that I had just failed. Here's a Slack test. This is actually in my application right now. I have a lot of different integrations. I went through and I failed this test here, TC Slack 021, that this application actually creates these test scripts and it will go through, give you the different steps to go through the expectations for that results. And then my QA people that are async, they live actually they're in India. So, and I'm in North Carolina, so there's obviously a big time difference there. They actually enter in their test results, and then there's a section here for me to write notes back saying, hey, user error or this is fixed, whatever the case might be, and they can actually enter in screenshots, right, as proof of what they're actually seeing, which makes it incredibly easy to go ahead and go back and replicate and also understand where they're running into issues. This also will pull up. You could do both screenshots and you could do up to 100 megabytes of video. So here my script is actually, once I mark this as failed, webhook basically picks it up automatically and it flags this. Basically, it's an agent or it's a slash command that basically has the logic prompt to go through. And what it's doing is basically checking to make sure that that the test case that it can actually solve for it. It's a valid test case. It's not user error. It's something that can be solved in the code base. It's not a configuration that's outside the scope of your application. So it's validating that it can reasonably go ahead and make a code change in that its context, and it will go ahead and start working on it, and it's going to deliver it. It's going to push a PR for you to be able to merge that in GitHub, and it is going to also reflag that test as being complete. And last feature here is your defect tracking. You can push this Here, I'm going to say create the issue. It created that issue here in my GitHub. I'm going to click on that link and it takes me to the actual issue where it created this with all the context, right? You get your screenshots and such. So yeah, right now I'm going through and I'm going to fix this ticket automatically through this Cloud Code, just testing this out. It picks up this ticket, recognizes it, it grabs all the proof in the actual ticket, it understands what's the test scenario, it understands what the expectations are, it understands what the actual results are from the QA testing, and then it can read, because I'm storing this in the actual, I'm storing this actually in the Azure blob, it can actually reference these screenshots, look at it, and understand what the issue is. So stay tuned for more.